Tadare Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Vandeham Shri Guru Varam Shri Rupanuga Pravaram Brajarasa Rasyam Charayanam Tankaram Shri Guru Charanam Vande Ramana Prasthaya Bhutale Rupanuga Bhaktilang Cha Kripa Murti Narayanam Seva Kunja Braja Ramya Govardhana Girau Sada Radha Kunja Rasananda Tat Seva Pradayakam Gurum Narayanakyam Tang Vande Vinoda Prashtakam Yatpara Smriti Matrena Damodara Prasidati Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Padidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Prilayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Bhaktya Vihina Paradalakshay Kshiptascha Kamaditarangamadhyam Kripamayitam Saranam Prapannam Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhajami Radham Aravindanetram Smarami Radham Madhurasmitasam Vadami Radham Karuna Bharadram Jato Mamanyasti Gatir Nakati Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. First of all, after my Shastanganvat pranams, thousands of times the lotus feet of Shri Paramarajatam Guru Par Padma Om Vishnu Par Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shri Gurudev. Secondly, after my Shastanganvat pranams, thousands of times the lotus feet of my Shri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga. And after my Shastanganvat pranams, to all assembled Vaishnava Vaishnavi. Continuing with Shri Prema Bhakti Chandrika. Prema Bhakti Tattva Tomar Kahinu Bhai Ar Durvasana Parihari Shri Guru Prasade Bhai Saba Bhajana Pai Prema Bhakti Sakhi Anuchari. Oh brother, now that I have explained to you the truth of Prema Bhakti, give up all other selfish desires for happiness. By the mercy of Sri Gurudev, you can achieve all these confidential methods of service. And upon attaining Prema Bhakti, you will become a maidservant of the Sakhis. Now Narottam Thakur here is giving benediction to the readers, saying what will happen if you follow everything that I have been speaking about. You aspire to Prema Bhakti. You take shelter of Sri Guru, then what will happen? And then you will become maidservant of the Sakhis. Narottam Das Thakur mercifully instructs us how to especially serve Sri Guru. Service to Sri Guru Parapadma is not very easy or ordinary. How can one serve Gurudev? Guru Parapadma is always in Vrindavan, serving Radha Krishna with the Manjaris and Braj Devis. By his kindness, he comes to the ordinary living beings of this world to give an opportunity to achieve pure love for God. A magnet attracts iron filings towards it. This power of attraction is in the magnet. Some of that magnetic power goes into the iron if it stays with the magnet for a long time. Similarly, living entities have a very small amount of power. Conditioned souls are very weak, and have a slight amount of consciousness. Bhakti Thakur describes five types of consciousness. Acharit Chetana. He says Sankuchit Chetana, Mukulit Chetana, Vikasit Chetana, and Purna Vikasita Chetana. 5 stages of consciousness. Acharita Chetana means covered consciousness, like mountains, rocks, stones. Even inside mountain there is jiva. Mountains they grow. Previous times mountains used to fly and cut off their wings because they used to smash the land and smash so many villages and kill people. So Indra became angry, cut off their wings. So they become stationary. But living entities, they exist everywhere. They may be just inside the stone, some form or other. Jiva may be in some life form or another inside the stone even. There's no guarantee. Jivas are everywhere. They're all pervasive. They're all over creation, different forms. So Acharya means that like completely unconscious. They have no consciousness at all. Very like completely covered. It's like if you see, it looks like there is no life there, almost like that. It's called Acharit Chetana. Then Sankuchit Chetana is completely like stunted consciousness, very restricted, and it is like referring to the immovable objects, living entities like the trees, the plants, creepers, flowers, all these things. These are like these plants, these trees. They look. There is some life there because there's some changes that you can see. There's some growth and there's some producing of flower and fruit and they dwindle. But it is very, very, very stunted, very limited. It's very hard to understand whether a tree, plant is experiencing any form of pain or not. Whether there is any kind of consciousness there or not. It's very hard. Most people in other religions, they would not even agree that there is life in the plants. There is soul there. They don't even agree there is soul in the animal. They're only human. So the plants are, when you break their branches and things, they don't make any sound, they don't rebel. There's no like reaction. If you harm like even an animal or a human, there's immediately a reaction to the pain. But trees, you cannot see any kind of reaction there. That is Sankuchita Chetana. And Mukulita means it's now blossoming, blooming a little. This refers to all the different kinds of animal species. You can see rodents and insects and mammals, and you see there is some clear visibility of some life there, consciousness, activities there. There are even animals that come to get together, mate, even produce offspring like this. It's blooming one, more blooming consciousness, but still very restricted. Their capacity to talk and communicate and do things is very limited, so much by the type of body they receive. It's also their eyesight, their hearing, all these things, so much limitation. They say that humans, they have the broadest scale of color they can see. Other animals, they don't see with so much color in their vision. They may have a good eyesight, but the colors will be very limited to a limited spectrum of color. That happiness is only granted to those in the human form of life. You can see the full variety of Bhagavan's creation. So that is Mukulita Chetana, then Vikasita Chetana. Vikarashita means the human form of life. And it is now, this is because it is progressive consciousness. In the human form of life, then you can worship Bhagavan. You take shelter of him and you can form bhajan. This consciousness is so much more evolved than any other form of life. But Purna Vikasita, the fully blossomed consciousness, here is referring to what? Sadha, the stage of bhava. When we come to the stage of bhava, then we can be categorized as Purna Vikasita Chetana. Our consciousness fully blossoms. fully bloomed. That time Rati Bhav entered into the heart, then one consciousness is, we said, fully awoken. While the stage of Bhav that time, Swarup Siddhi takes place. Realization of one's Atma. Is fully conscious of one's own self, true self. These are 5 levels of consciousness described by Bhakti Thakur in his Chaitanya Shikshamrita. Also, I think in Jaya Dharma. Guru Padma comes from the eternal world, endowed with unlimited power, because of his connection with Sarup Shakti. The essence of Samveda and Ladini is called Prema. This Prema Bhakti is invested in Srila Gurudev. He distributes that love to the living beings. That love can come from no other. Living beings misuse their love and are therefore punished. They commit sins, offenses and bad karma. Thus they go to hell. How can they come to God? How can they bring their love to Guru Pada Padma and God? Guru Pada Padma collects the love of all living beings and offers this to God. God becomes very pleased when the living beings come to Him and offer their love after wandering in this material existence since time immemorial. When a mother gives candy to her child, the baby sometimes places the candy in his mother's mouth. Similarly, God first gives love to the living beings, but they can either use or misuse this love. Gurudev first gives the seed of the tendency to serve Krishna with love. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, it is stated, Brahmanda Brahmita Kon Bhagyavanji Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beej Tate Krishna Bhaja Kare Guru Rasevan Maya Jal Chute Pai Krishner Charan. By the causeless mercy of Sri Guru, the living beings receive the seed of devotion for Krishna. After aimlessly wandering in the cycle of repeated birth and death, when the living being uses this devotion and love for Krishna, then Guru is pleased. Krishna is very kind and merciful. Offering one's love to Krishna is called bhajan. Bhaj ityesha dhatu sevayam parikirtita. In Garud Puran Purvakanda is described the definition of bhajan. Well-gurud bhaj means to render service. Bhajan does not entail so much austerity. Simply offer your love and affection to Krishna. Gurudev will be very happy when a disciple offers respect to Radharani and Krishna. Radharani and Krishna will be very happy when the disciple offers his heartfelt respect at the lotus feet of his Guru. From the Ragatmik Brajvasis, the flow of unlimited pure love comes. This is the power of Sarup Shakti. When this flow comes in the hearts of the living beings, they automatically run towards Braj and Krishna. This body is like a house. Like a beggar, the soul comes in one house or a body, and then moves from one to another in a long cycle. He moves in the bodies of elephants, cows, tigers, ants, and so many species of life. However, after ascending to the human platform, and the living being receives the mercy of Guru Pada Padma, he can come in the direction of Radha and Krishna's loving service. The living beings are then no longer beggars or orphans. They now become very rich. Prem dan vina vyarta daridya jivan das kari vetana more deha premadhan. Without the treasure of Prem, my life is useless and of no value. Therefore, accept me as your servant and bestow upon me the wealth of Prem. Mahaprabhu himself spoke these words. Mahaprabhu said, without the wealth of Prem, my life is useless. Anyone without love is a poor orphan. Mahaprabhu prayed, make me your servant and give me the wage of love, Prem Dam. Without this love, I am destitute. Without this love, I go door to door begging. Guru Pada children. The parents become very happy when their children become qualified and are respected by all the government officials and people in their district. Guru's disciples become very greatly qualified personalities when they collect the wealth of this love that embodies the mercy of Sarup Shakti. This wealth can never be lost or exhausted. Guru Pada Padma and the Vaishnavas are not far from God's family. Their aim is simply to serve God. They serve Lord Jagannath or Radha Krishna with all their energy. Mahaprabhu went to South India and brought everyone to Vrindavan. He did not send anyone to other places. Srila Gurudev similarly collected everyone from far countries and brought them to Seva Kunj in Vrindavan. He gave them this mood called Bhakti Yoga. When the living beings collect this love from Guru, they should completely use it for the service of Srila Gurudev, Vaishnavas and God. This love will then increase with interest. Guru and Vaishnavas teach the sadhak and help him progress more and more. The sadhak becomes very qualified and strong and no longer loses his love or moves from one house to another in many species of life, like a camel, jackal or dog. Narottam Das Thakur therefore explains, Guru Seva is not so easy. Anyone who collects his service tendency from Sri Guru and engages in the service of God, while not using his love for any others, is the ideal disciple of Guru. In other words, to offer everything to the lotus feet of Sri Gurudev, one's body, mind and words, one's full time, self, full dedication, then that person is ideal. Narottam Das Thakur explains that this Guru's service is very serious. By pure Guru Seva, one can acquire this pure love. And then without Radha Madhav, one has no relationship with any other. Without Sachinandam Giridhari, we have no other relationship. Without the Brajvasi, without Guru Padapadma, we know nobody. This sambandha is given to us by Sri Gurudev. Text 5. Sartaka bhajana pata sadhu sangya abhirata smarana bhajana Krishna kata Prema Bhakti hoy jadi tabe hoy mana shuddhi tabe jai jair vyata. The most successful path of bhajan is to always remain in sadhu sangha, remembering, worshipping the Lord within the heart, and hearing the sweet pastimes of Krishna. When one achieves Prema Bhakti, the mind will become fully cleansed and the disease of the heart will go away. When will my bhajan be successful? When you are continuously in the association of sadhus, your bhajan will be successful. Don't live with the sadhus like an insect. Sadhus are incessantly engaged in their service, following pure bhakti. They engage in smaran, shravan and Krishna katha. Sadhus possess the three special qualities. The foremost quality is that they always remember Krishna. Ya priti avivekanam vishayeshu anupayini tam anusmaratta samaye hridaya napasarpatu. Materialistic fools take great delight in engaging their senses with the sense objects. O my Lord, I pray that I may have this same attachment for you, that I may always remember you and see you directly with my senses. May love for you never leave my heart. A person with an uncontrolled mind and senses always thinks about sense enjoyment and its concurrent sense objects. A person who is a follower of sadhus and guru will always engage his mind in remembering and serving in their eternal world. Sadhus perform bhajan and speak Krishna katha. They speak nothing other than Krishna's glories, name, form, qualities and pastimes. In other words, that which you become attached to, that you will think about. Any sense enjoyer, person who likes to enjoy senses, he tastes something very nice, then he's always thinking about that. And when in the future, whenever he sees that thing, he's that's very nice. And he likes to enjoy that again and again. But the Vaishnavas, they're tasting the highest thing, the highest happiness, seva. They have realization. So that realization, therefore, their minds are always wandering towards Bhagavan, always towards Krishna. For he said that Jayadev Goswami said that my mind, like a swan, always wander in the pond of your qualities and pastimes. Manasa Raj Sahamsa. The attachment, where the attachment is, their mind will naturally go to that place. It's only natural. So sadhus, because they're always thinking about Krishna, they're revealing to you where their attachment is. The attachment is there, Lord Sri Krishna. But they cannot forget him. They're always speaking about him, serving him. And if you find yourself, your mind is always wandering here and there to specific sense of objects and things, then you should understand that is where your attachment lies. This is a symptom. Without Prema Bhakti, one's mind can never become peaceful. Mind is restless when he does not find the essence or mellow of that divine love. Not getting any sweetness or affection, the mind is restless and moves here and there, searching for love. However, after tasting pure love, the mind becomes fixed and peaceful. The pain of the heart becomes nullified. In the ultimate sense, the heart is only pacified when he attains that pure bhakti. Temporarily you may pacify the mind by giving it so many things. The things you desire, if you achieve, then you feel satisfied for some moment, for some temporary, some time. But then, again, your mind desires are limited, again you'll begin to hanker for something more. This is how will one's life be successful? Always stay in the association of devotees and engage yourself in smaran, bhajan and Krishna katha. The sadhak should always follow the footsteps of the great sadhus who constantly engage themselves in Krishna's bhajan. Many living beings inside Maya speak the glories of God and find themselves to be extricated from Maya Devi's jurisdiction. In other words, if you always speaking about Krishna Katha, then you are in a special bubble. You are in a special area of protection. Maya cannot enter you, cannot touch you. Why? Because Krishna Katha is in your heart. Shanshrinvatam swakatha Krishna punya shabana kirtana hridyastohya bhadrani vidunoti surhipsatam. The Bhagavatam says that you hear Krishna Katha, the Krishna Katha enters the ears and goes inside the heart, makes room there. And it clears everything away, all the misgivings, all the abhadras, all anarthas from your heart. If you're constantly hearing Harikatha, speaking Harikatha, then Maya cannot touch you. Sadhus approach them and speak Harikatha while simultaneously making a relationship with the people around them. Thus they pull these people out of the well of Maya by collecting their hearts. They inject this Krishna Katha into them, into their very beings, into their hearts, deep into their hearts. The sadhus are truly great personalities invested with great spiritual potency. As a touchstone can turn one another object into gold, similarly the sadhus can transform anyone they meet into pure devotees. How do they do so? By giving them pure love and service tendency throughout the medium of their harikatha and sweet dealings. And then the tendency to perform bhakti and bhajan comes. They are more than any touchstone. Touchstone, if you touch any object with it, it will turn to gold. Vaishnavas are like that. Prabhupada gave Paramgurudev this title, Kriti Ratna. More than touchstone. Anything he does is perfect. Anyone who comes into the association of Kriti Ratna, Vinod Bihari Brahmachari, he also becomes perfect. That is the nature. It's the nature of the sadhu. Perfect in what? In Gurudev Seva, Prabhupada Seva, Mayapur Seva. Therefore you come into contact with the Vaishnava, then you become also expert and perfect at them in Gurudev Seva, Vrindavan, Braj Dham Seva, Braj Seva, Prem Seva. Simply remember the sadhus, nothing more is needed. Then your heart will be transformed. By remembering anything mundane or any mundane person, your mind will continue to be restless and you will hopelessly suffer. However, by remembering sadhus, your heart will be cleansed and pleased. Remembering mundane people will not pacify the heart, rather it will agitate the heart. Sadhus, remembering them, seeing them, it will cool one's existence. All the ignorance, illusion is dissipated by their association. The heart is cool, the mind is pacified. By following the footsteps of the Ragatmik Bhaktas, pure love will quickly arise because you will find yourself actively engaged in following the different limbs of devotion. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatana Goswami describes endeavors made while performing resolute bhajan. Evam ekantinam praya kirtanam smaranam prabho kurvatam parama pritya krityamanya narochyate bhavena kenachit prashta shrimurtil angri sevane syad ichchaisham swamantrena swarasana ivav tadiddihi vihite seva nityeshu pravartante swayam hite sarvatyagapya bhyeya sarvanatta bhuvaschate kuryupdishta vishtaya yatnam aksparshane varam prabhate chadharate cha madhyane divasakshaye kirtayanti harinevayana tesam anya sadhanam. If a one-pointed devotee chants and remembers the glories of his Lord Vishnu, great love and according to his eternal bhav, he will have no desire for anything else. In whatever mood he aspires to serve his beloved, deity's lotus feet, he engages in archan through his specific mantra and ras. That same service later becomes his eternal service. However, even if one has renounced all things, still something remains to be given up before this can take place. What is that? The desire for self-prestige, pratishtha, the root cause of all anarthas. What is the root cause of all anarthas? That is pratishtha, asha. It's the most subtle. Described as the last anartha to be removed from the heart. A desire to be respected. And desire for one's own prestige. Everyone wants to be treated with respect, treated well. No one wants to be the object of bad dealings or inappropriate dealings. And one always very happy if one receives glorification or special recognition from others. If you want to please anybody, then it's very easy. You offer pranam to them and touch their feet. Offer them gifts. Be very humble for them, and they'll become your best friend. Guaranteed. You want to befriend anyone, then just be very subordinate and humble to them. Then they think, oh, you're very nice. Why? They think that they can control you, and then you will be fulfill their desires. Maybe it might not be a growth desire, might not be there, but the desire for pratishtha is always there. In a subconscious way, that is there in some way. Therefore, Vaishnava they sing, Amanina Manada Hoya Krishna Sadana Prabhu. Without desiring any respect, chant the holy name of the Lord. Without kirtan, Bhagavad Bhakti Thakur said, they sing Bhakti Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, many places. Amani Manada Hoyle Kirtane Adhikara Nivetumi. Oh Vaishnava Thakur, you give us the adhikar, the Amani and Mana. So pratishtha is the root cause of all anarthas. The main duty of a sadhak is to abandon this pratishtha, which is like stool. What to speak of touching this pratishtha? Do not look at it, even from far away. For he who chants the names of Sri Hari morning, midday, and evening and midnight, no other sadhana is required. Not any ordinary stool, it's described to be like hog stool. Pratishtha asa sukira avishta. Said that Abhimana surapana, Gaurava Shuddharorava, Pratisthasha Sukira Vishta Tattam Tyajam Harim Bhajan. This false Abhiman, false ego is like surapana, intoxication. Gaurava Shuddharorava, false pride is very hellish mentality. And Pratisthasha is like the stool of a pig. Giving all these things up, worship Sri Hari. So stool is very abominable substance. But hog stools eat the stool, then they pass stool. Then you can understand how dirty that must be. One pointed Raganuga devotees don't have taste for anything except Shravan, Kirtan and Smaran. Prema Bhakti appears in the heart through the performance of Shravan, Kirtan and Smaran. The Srimad Bhagavatam explains the process of anartha nivritti. When jiva makes relation with the other jivas and becoming very attached, he cannot break his moha. This attachment is very strong. Day and night he thinks about his relations and energy, engages in actions to please them, using all his energy and blood. People give everything for mundane things and the people around them. Resultantly, they become completely tied to the bondage of moha. Moha means attachment, infatuation, mutual energy. So you cannot give it up. That is what moha means. If you want to describe moha, means that thing which you become attached to, you cannot give it up. It causes pain to be separate from that object. Then it is called moha. You're in moha. Moha, moda, mara, matsa, matsadiya, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Mara, Matsarya. The 6 enemies of the jiva. There is lust, anger, greed, pride, attachment and envy. These 6 enemies, these are great weaknesses of the heart, the jiva. Hridaya Dorvalya. It's a great weakness to the jiva. It makes the jiva weak. Because of these 6 things, he is uncontrolled. He cannot control himself. Great obstacles are towards one bhajan and also too much even mundane, even ordinary life, to one's existence. One should stay far away from these 6 enemies. How is that possible? By being in the association of the Vaishnavas. They will drive away these enemies from our heart, by calling out to them, praying to them. With their so-called love and affection, people steal all of one's love because they are like dacoits. How can his love return? Shukadev Goswami explains, the heart disease of lust can only be cured by using all of one's energy in following the footsteps of the sadhus and in hearing Harikatha of the Blessed Devi in their association. Because of making relationships with mundane people, a person becomes diseased at heart and enveloped by lust. Hearing of the amorous pastime of Krishna with the Braj Devis, and by discussing these pastimes with deep respect and faith, Bhakti will come, and lust will be completely annihilated from the heart. Then all anarthas are easily destroyed. If Prema Bhakti comes, that is good. But why has Hridrog, the heart disease, been stated? By hearing, chanting and remembering Krishna's Ras Leela, pure devotion comes in the heart and subsequently the heart disease of lust is cured. If one burns a lamp, then the kindled flame will dissipate the darkness. Similarly, when pure devotion enters the heart, the darkness of lust is dissipated. However, if one can't remember these things and follow the Vajradevi's footsteps, then the heart disease of lust will not be cured and begins to die. Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hoy andakar. Jaha Krishna tahe nahe Maya adhikar. Krishna is like a sun, Maya is like darkness. Where Krishna is present, Maya has no adhikar, has no business there. Maya will be far away. It's like if you light a lamp, then automatically the darkness in the room is dissipated. The room is filled with light. So we should fill our heart with His love, with Bhajan Bhakti. Then the darkness of ignorance. Umat jnana timirandasya jnanam jnana shalaga chakshurumritam tasmai shri gurave namaha. Guru here gives us that pure devotion which dissipates the darkness that is there in the heart. What is that darkness? It is primarily in the form of lust, disease of the heart. Lust here refers to desire. So many desires we enjoy in so many ways. Some say, I have heard and remembered these pastimes many times, but still I have no love and faith. What should I do? Hear from those who have love and faith. On one side have faith and love, and hear from those who also have this faith and love. You'll go farther and farther away if you disrespect and commit offenses to these pastimes. The pastimes of Krishna and the Braj Devis are not mundane. Don't think that they are like ordinary men and women dancing and embracing each other. You should listen to these pastimes without thinking that they are ordinary. Faith is very powerful. Persons who hear from Guru, Sadhu and Sastra without making offenses to Nam and who always remember Krishna Leela can derive immense benefit, although they may be unqualified. So immense benefit is to be had by associating with sadhus. We cannot estimate how much benefit we are receiving. It cannot be stated. Whatever we say is an understatement. Understand that much. Our estimations are far below what the real benefit we are getting. We cannot imagine. Only someone who is experienced special mercy they can realize. Like Ajamil, he was at the gates of hell, doors of death. Death was staring him in the eyes. The Yamadutas, they personally arrived there with their hooks and their chains and their swords and clubs and their ferocious appearance. They were ready to drag Ajamil away. That's why he became so scared. Immediately began calling out to his son, Narayan, 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 save me, save me. Look who's come. He was terrified. But by chanting Narayan, then immediately the Vishnudutas came and chased Ajamil away. And chased the Yamadutas away. First, but they had a conversation. They discussed. The Yamadutas said, who are you? He said, no. Ajamil, we are taking him. Then the Yamadutas said, no. He is sinful. We have his name. We have a warrant for him. A warrant to bring him to Yamalok. He said, no, you cannot take him. He's going with us. And they chased away the Yamadutas. And in this way, the Vishnu chased the Yamadutas away, and then Ajamil, by hearing the conversation between the Vishnudutas and the Yamadutas, then some realization came in his heart. He thought, I was on the verge of death. Death was staring me in the eyes. I was ready to be taken by the Yamadutas, the Yamaloka. And simply because I chanted, I called out to Krishna Narayan. Simply by chanting the holy name, I was saved from such a terrible fate. Then what will happen? What will I achieve or attain if I sincerely begin to chant the holy names? If I sincerely begin to do Bhajan Bhakti, live a pious life, engage in the Lord's service, then what will I not achieve? So then immediately he recovered. And in his old age, he went to Haridwar, did Bhajan Bhakti there, and then he went back to the spiritual world. Why? How was he able to then leave everything? His children, his wife, everything at his advantage. Because he saw, practically realized and experienced that Vishnu is saving him. Just because he chanted Namabhas. It was practical realization. Immediately, he gave up everything. Then he left and he went. So, most of us, we learn only after experiencing. This is our misfortune. If we could learn by hearing, this would be so much better. Like a child, he learns how to speak. Learns how to speak how? Just by listening to the parents. It's the best way of learning. Guru Mahai said they explained to us the process of the bhakti. We should adopt it just by through the process of hearing. Don't wait to suffer countless unlimited lives in this world. Don't need to go through all that suffering first, then realize that this world is a place of suffering. The relationships in this world are suffering. The happiness in this world is dry and empty, hollow. So don't wait for that. Hear the Guru Vaishnava and just engage yourself in Bhagavad Bhajan. He said that people say, I am unqualified. Why should I hear this? How will he get adhikar? Will he suffer for millions of more lives? It's not possible to first clean the heart and then follow bhakti. One should not think that he will wait for the river to dry and then cross it. The river will continue running. A clever person will cross the river by plying a boat, or he will swim across. If you are on one side thinking that you will cross the river when it turns dry, then you will stay as you are on the other side forever. What is the river here? The river refers to calm, lust. All our unlimited desires. It's flowing like a river. We're waiting for those desires to end. It's not possible. That's just like the waves in the ocean will never stop coming. Simply desires will never stop coming from the Atma. Because the Atma is full of desire. It's unlimited. It is full of desire to be active, experience love and affection. You can never stop the desire of the Atma. You can never stop the calm of the Atma. That calm only when it is given towards Krishna, then it becomes present. When you utilize for everything else, then it remains as calm. That desire to serve Bhagavan Shri Krishna. When it is for Bhagavan exclusive happiness, then it becomes Prema Bhakti. So don't wait for the river to dry. Don't wait for your desires, material desires to go away. Engage all your desire now in Krishna's service. Then you'll stop desiring for material things, naturally. This mentality is useless because of a lack of love and devotion. One may think, I have no intelligence, I can't understand this, I won't read or go to school, I am foolish. I won't go to school or learn anything. This is madness. Such a person really has no intelligence. Good intelligence comes from Guru and Vaishnavas, who are touchstones. You think, oh, I don't know, I cannot, I am foolish, I am this, that. Okay, you are foolish, then now you will go to school, learn, don't be foolish anymore. Educate yourself. No, this is not for me, I cannot do it. It's laziness. It's anartha. Manifesting in the form of obstacles that your mind is producing. You have desire to enjoy, therefore you don't want to work hard. You don't want to put the time into educate yourself. You like to be in the position you are. You like to be in ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. I like to be in this position. Vaishnavas, they are such nobles. They'll give us this good intelligence. They are vanchakalpatru, desire trees. They give faith, love and desire. God helps those who help themselves. They're saying, Apna hat Jagannath. You try, you pray to the Lord, you try to endeavor, then Bhagavan will reward you. He will bless you. You never try, then you'll never achieve anything. So Gurudev said to try is bhakti. You try it at least, then you will see. Therefore, remember them. Who? Guru and Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavis, Mandirin and Vaishvasis will fulfill all your desires. Follow them and automatically the desire for Prema Bhakti will come. If one has false pride and says, I will only follow if God makes me qualified, then know that such a person is truly unqualified. This is a neglectful mood. Person is truly unfortunate. For example, many flowers are in a garden. One may give an order to only bring white flowers. One person goes and brings white flowers, but they have no scent. The color is white, but they have no fragrance. If you have this neglectful mood, then everything you do will not be successful. Actually, in Archan it's described that you offer white flowers, Bhagavan, but they should be fragrant also. You never offer flowers that have no fragrance. Flowers that have no fragrance are completely useless. They can be used for decorating temple hills and that's about it. But we never offer them to the Lord and directly in deep service. The flowers are not qualified to be offered. If you want to make Vaishnavas are very merciful though. They'll take those unscented flowers, put some perfume, and they'll offer them. The Vaishnava is like that. Even someone has no quality, they'll give quality to you, make you qualified and offer you to Krishna's service. But if you have no Vaishnava mercy, no Guru mercy, then you will have no proper desire, no proper incentive to serve. And then your service will be also like that. Picking anything, offering anything. White flowers have no scent, you offer it. Then they do not be truly pleasing. If you want to be qualified, then you will have to know the art. You have to learn all these things. What to be offered to Bhagavan, how to offer. Then you'll go to the garden, you'll choose those flowers which are very white but also fragrant, like the jasmine, the champa, all these different naga champa, all these different beautiful flowers. The ones that have scent, then we'll offer those. So try to make oneself qualified. Qualification means what? A desire to try, follow. That is our qualification. Simply to try is bhakti. Just have a desire to try to please. Then automatically all inspiration will come and your service, the result will be very beneficial. The result is not in our hands. We simply do our chesta, kripa will come. 2 fingers Mahaprabhu described. Endeavor and mercy. People say, oh, Bhagavan has no desire. Bhagavan doesn't want, therefore this is not happiness, not having. The Guru Maharaj said, do this service, come for Harikatha, do this or that. Oh, it's not working for me. Bhagavan has no desire. This is what everyone says. People like this common excuse. Oh, Bhagavan has no desire. Then what do you say? No, Bhagavan has all desire. So you have to give chesta. You have to do the. He has the icha, you give the chesta. Bhagavan's desire is always there for you to do bhakti. But you give some chesta, give some endeavor. Then you can realize his desire. If you don't endeavor, you don't try, then how you realize his desire? When it's simple, easy to put off. Oh, Bhagavan doesn't want, Krishna doesn't want. Means you don't want. That is what you are saying. So simply try to endeavor. And if you don't have no desire to try even, then just pray to Bhagavan. Give me a desire. I have no desire, but please give me some desire. At least you can pray. Man mana bhava mat bhakti mat yaji mam namaskuru. Says if you can't do any of all these things, in the line he said mam namaskuru. Offer your obeisances to me and pray to me. Then everything will come from there. We'll stop here and we'll continue again. Gaur Pramananda Hari Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Pada Padma ki Jai, Guru Parampara ki Jai, Satchinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Saparshala Gaur Hari ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Sankirtan Kali Bhakti Vrinda ki Jai, जय श्री प्रेम भक्ति चंद्रिका की जय, नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर की जय, नंदवादी वैष्णविंद की जय, सामगत भक्ति विन की जय, जय निताय गौर परमानंद हरि हरि बोल। They finished the work? They made all also? Oh.